Ever get that itch for an adventure that just grabs you by the collar and doesn't let go?
Yeah.
Something dripping with mystery, maybe a high-octane thriller that feels like you're right there in the thick of it, you know? Dodging bullets, cracking codes, all from your headphones.
Right.
The kind of story reader reviews call a ride you just can't put down.
It's fascinating, isn't it, how deeply we connect with those kinds of intense stories. There's a real satisfaction in unraveling a complex mystery or just feeling that adrenaline rush, even if it's vicariously.
Exactly.
And the book you've shared with us today seems to tap right into that desire.
Absolutely. So we're doing our deep dive into a book that came highly recommended by you, our listener. We're going to try and pull out all the thrilling bits that make it so, well, compelling.
Mm-hmm.
And from what we've gathered, we're pretty sure the book is The Decrypter, Digital Eyes Only, by Rose Sandy.
Yes. Which, from the buzz we've seen, seems like it's tailor-made for anyone who enjoys a good puzzle, some nail-biting suspense, maybe a plot that keeps you guessing, or just some really gripping action.
Totally.
That description, action-packed adventure, techno-thriller across several continents, it certainly paints a picture.
Yeah, it really does. So our mission today is basically to dissect the core of this book. The initial setup, the characters driving the story, the underlying themes, all without giving away spoilers, of course.
Right. Keep it spoiler-free.
We just want to shed some light on what makes this book so appealing to fans of these, captivating genres.
And our sources for this exploration, they're going to excerpts taken straight from the book itself. These little snippets should give us a real first-hand glimpse into the author's style, the world they've built, and the people in it.
Okay.
So where does this thrilling ride actually begin?
Okay, let's jump into that opening scene. We find ourselves in what used to be a respectable restaurant, but now it's fire damage. You can almost, smell the burnt food and smoke in the air.
Yeah, it creates a mood.
It's in this disrupted setting that we first meet Faye Jasso.
Faye Jasso, introduced as a senior juvenile behavior officer. That choice of setting a place that was normal, now scarred it, immediately creates this sense of unease, doesn't it?
It does.
And Faye's job thinks that the story might involve younger people in, well, difficult situations, suggests layers beyond just a typical action plot. And the fact a senior officer is involved personally, that implies it's serious.
Right. His task, meet with a teenage offender, one of fraternal twins. So right away, something feels a bit unusual. There are police questioning delivery staff. Suggests the incident wasn't simple. And Faye's first impression of the twin they have arrested is pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Even handcuffed, she has this rebellious strength and this intense, searching look in her eyes. What do you make of those early hints?
Those details are really effective for building intrigue. Rebellious strength suggests a character who won't be easily controlled, hinting at future conflict, maybe resilience. And the searching gaze implies intelligence. Maybe she's looking for a way out or trying to understand something. The fact Faye then takes her to a juvenile residential center. It shows the immediate consequences, but it doesn't explain the why.
Which is the big question posed early on.
Yeah.
But why? What did these twins actually do at MIT that has everyone so worked up?
Right.
And the book then gives us this contrasting description of the sisters. One's tall and lanky, the other shorter, more feminine. They're orphans from the welfare system, yet somehow they're smarter than most, with some kind of mysterious talent that got them into MIT.
That contrast, their background versus their intelligence, it's a classic way to create compelling characters, you know?
It is.
Makes you root for them, sort of, even while you're trying to figure out what they did wrong.
Yeah.
And the mystery around their talent adds this layer of something extraordinary, maybe, to what could otherwise be just a crime story?
Definitely. And then there's Mrs. Dennehy. Faye pleads with her for help to protect one of the sisters before the state fully steps in. That adds another layer of urgency.
Yeah, it suggests Faye thinks one twin is in danger beyond just the legal trouble, right? Hints at some bigger, maybe more sinister force involved.
Exactly. Faye's urgency. Him seeking help outside the official system. It shows he doesn't trust the system, or maybe thinks the threat is just too big for it.
And Mrs. Dennehy's story about finding them as babies in an Idaho cornfield, already able to speak and read fluently.
Crazy, right?
And a DNA test confirms they're related. I mean, what are we supposed to make of an origin story like that? It's unbelievable.
It's a fantastic hook. It just instantly elevates the twins beyond ordinary people. It injects this almost mythical feel to their lives. You desperately want to know more about where they came from.
Totally.
And this whole initial thread ends with a pretty dramatic cliffhanger.
Oh, absolutely. Faye finds this mysterious woman by an open rover, the other twin is unconscious, and then bang, a pistol is aimed right at him. That's a masterstroke in raising the stakes. It signals immediately that the twins are mixed up in something way more dangerous than just, teenage troublemaking. And that powerful, unknown enemies are now in the mix. That kind of sudden jump in danger is classic thriller stuff. Keeps you glued to the page.
Yeah, you're hooked. And that shift in tension perfectly pivots us away, actually whisking us off to a totally different place and introducing a new key player. Calla Cress, over in London.
Calla Cress, British Museum curator and government cyber agent. I mean, that dual identity alone suggests a really fascinating character, right? A mix of intellectual stuff and high-stakes action. And the fact she's urgently summoned by the British Prime Minister, leaving someone named Nash behind in the Caribbean, that immediately tells you her current mission is critical.
And the setting, 10 Downing Street. With all its history, you think of all the huge decisions made there. It just lends weight to the whole situation.
Definitely.
The meetings in the PM's private quarters off the record.
Yeah.
Emphasizing the secrecy, the sensitivity. But it's Calla's unique abilities that really make her stand out.
Yes. Her mind's way of processing what looks like random digits, letters, symbols, seeing rhythms and patterns that other people just miss. It hints at this incredible talent for decryption, for analysis. Makes her invaluable for cyber intelligence.
Yeah.
For fans of techie thrillers, that kind of specialized skill is often a huge part of the hero's appeal.
And the crisis she's brought in for is massive. A hacker demanding a staggering £250 million ransom for something the Prime Minister has. And the Bayeux Tapestry might even be involved.
Whoa, 250 million. The scale of that demand just highlights how valuable whatever's at stake must be.
But what adds that classic mystery layer is the PM denying he even knows what the hacker wants.
Right, creates immediate suspicion. Makes you wonder about hidden agendas, government secrets maybe.
Totally.
Kalila trying to trace this hacker really cements the cyber thriller element. And then the mention of stolen art and a secret buyers club that deepens the intrigue even more suggests this whole shadowy underworld operating online.
But the book doesn't just stick to digital threats, does it? Suddenly the action ramps up. A shadowy figure, gunshots, an intruder with, get this, highly advanced gecko-inspired climbing gear, identified as belonging to ISTF.
Gecko gear. Okay, that tells you the danger isn't just virtual. There are real-world operatives, suggesting a sophisticated, well-funded adversary.
Yeah.
And mentioning ISTF, probably some fictional elite force in this world, hints at maybe a government connection or para-governmental, raises questions about internal conflict, maybe rogue agents. And Kayla's quick thinking, her implied combat skills in dealing with this, it shows she's versatile. Good for readers who like brains and brawn in their heroes.
Exactly. That blend of high-tech cyber stuff and, actual physical action is really a defining feature of the techno-thriller genre. Promises a fast-paced, multi-layered read.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And as the story goes on, we start to see the bigger picture, the international implications.
The book touches on this high-stakes technology and science race between global powers. And there are rumors about this clandestine group, the Black Horse Group, auctioning off cutting-edge tech.
Okay, so that elevates the conflict beyond just a ransom demand. It's got potentially huge geopolitical consequences now, which is common in these more complex thrillers.
And right in the middle of all this global stuff, we get the personal connections. Nash, the guy Calla left behind, clearly they have a significant bond. Suggests personal stakes are going to get tangled up with the bigger drama.
That human element, yeah. It often adds emotional weight to the high-stakes stuff in this genre. Makes you care more.
Then there's mention of a list and this digital auction that brought Calla to London in the first place. It acts like a bridge, connecting the different plot threads.
And the revelation that Nash's father is somehow connected to the Black Horse Group. Plus, they're using NSA resources. That hints at a really deep, complex conspiracy with connections everywhere. For readers who love unraveling intricate plots with lots of interconnected layers, those details will be super engaging.
We also get glimpses into Nash's past through Haven, and Winter suggests he has his own history, relationships that might matter now. He's not just like Calla's backup.
Right, implies he has his own compelling story.
Yeah.
And Calla's decryption skills keep being highlighted, navigating the dark net, that digital space for hidden info and, well, shady stuff. The introduction of Jack, a tech expert, signals they're forming a core team, another common element in thrillers where you need specialized skills to beat the odds.
And the discovery of this vault's digital signature being traced back to the Malta Palace, that brings in this fascinating historical angle to modern cybercrime, ancient secrets meeting cutting-edge tech.
That blending of history and contemporary elements can add a really unique flavor, can't it?
It really can.
So the ransomware attack on the PM underlines the immediate threat, but then, wow, the narrative throws in this deeply personal vulnerability for Calla, her pregnancy,
Yeah.
and a disturbing potential threat against it. Mentioning traction drugs, a black market for genetic material. How does that shift things?
Well, that personal threat just injects this incredibly powerful emotional core into the thriller, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
It raises the stakes massively for Calla. She's fighting not just for national security anymore, but for her own life, her baby's life.
Yeah.
That kind of vulnerability makes a character more relatable, makes their struggles hit harder.
Yeah, definitely. And as the conspiracy gets deeper, the fact that major intelligence agencies, GCHQ, MI6, seem to have very little on this Black Horse group, that just emphasizes how shadowy they are, how big the challenge is.
It does.
That sense of a hidden enemy operating outside the usual power structures
Yeah.
is particularly unsettling and intriguing in a thriller.
And the Maltese Cross showing up as potentially significant could hint at historical secret societies, maybe, again, weaving the past and present together. Then the story moves to Castle Rock, Colorado, and we see Nash getting really protective of Calla, highlighting their bond.
Right. And Cal is just determined to get to the truth, driven by this violation of her privacy, her freedom. It's a powerful motivation readers can connect with.
Then there's Allegra. She has this long history with Calla, hints she knows about secret groups like ISTF, suggesting hidden alliances, maybe deeper layers of conspiracy still to come.
Ooh, intriguing. And the idea that government secrets could be exposed through this digital auction, that raises the possibility of widespread chaos, instability, underscores the global importance of Calla's mission.
And we get a name drop. Mason Lasfell, former head of ISTF, as a potential bad guy, adds a personal angle to the conflict. Past connections, maybe betrayals.
Could be. The story's scope keeps expanding, too, off to Malta, the Grandmaster's palace. Again, historical settings, modern intrigue.
And Calla's decryption speed, even faster than ISTF computers, reinforces how unique and vital she is to solving this whole thing.
She's the key. Then we get into the auction itself. Masks, virtual reality, creates this atmosphere of anonymity, blurring lines between the physical and digital.
Yeah, very modern thriller.
And the team infiltrating a Bavarian villa tied to the auction shows they're being proactive, taking risks to find the truth.
So zooming out a bit, it's clear the Decrypter is really skillfully blending these historical bits, Knights of Malta, Bayeux Tapestry, with super modern tech, right?
Yeah.
Cybersecurity, hacking, advanced gadgets.
Absolutely. That fusion of old and new is kind of a hallmark of the techno-thriller genre, makes for a really rich backdrop for the story.
And some really interesting themes are bubbling up, too. Identity seems like a big one. You know, with Calla's personal quest and the ongoing mystery about where the twins actually came from, makes you wonder about who these people really are.
That's a good point. And the theme of trust and betrayal is clearly central, too. In a world full of secrets and hidden motives, who can you actually trust? That drives a lot of the suspense, doesn't it?
It really does. And that reader review you mentioned earlier, a
Yeah.
female James Bond with a Matrix twist, that really does seem to capture it perfectly.
Yeah, it does.
Calla's action skills, combined with her amazing abilities in the digital world. For fans who like strong female leads in these kinds of thrillers, that comparison is spot on.
Ultimately, the Decrypter, digital eyes only, sounds like it's expertly built for listeners and readers who love intricate plots, unexpected twists, a relentless pace, and that feeling of a global conspiracy unfolding.
It promises that exciting ride we talked about at the beginning.
Exactly.
So, just to quickly recap the thrilling ground we've covered. Mysterious twins with this wild origin story, a massive cyber attack targeting the British PM, the brilliant Calla Cress, the shadowy Black Horse group lurking online, and this growing web of personal danger for our main characters.
Yeah, these interwoven pieces are exactly what pulls listeners in, right? The promise of getting up to speed quickly but thoroughly, finding surprising little facts, getting swept up in a great story without feeling lost. It's about that thrill of discovery, the satisfaction of putting the puzzle together.
Well, we definitely hope this deep dive has given you some aha moments and a much clearer picture of the kind of adventure the Decrypter, digital eyes only, offers, especially if you're into mystery, suspense, and action.
And if we have sparked your curiosity, we absolutely encourage you to dive into the book yourself, experience the full story, unravel all the mysteries. We've only scratched the surface here, kept all the big surprises safe.
Definitely worth a read if this sounds like your kind of thing. So finally, let's leave you with this to think about. In a world where, history can be dug up with a few clicks and cutting-edge tech is traded in digital shadows, what are the real limits of hidden power? And what unseen battles are being fought right now to protect the information that shapes our world?
That's a deep one.
Something to chew on long after this deep dive ends.